They have, they have literally delayed their agenda because I think it's so important to them. They've been very careful about the timing, and let's wait a little longer, let's have this crisis first, let's have COVID first, soften them up. But they've delayed because the technology was already ready around 2015 to roll out. Mm. And what people don't mention is, what do these CBDCs actually look like? At the moment, there's a bit of talk about this being phone-based apps. And yes, that is the initial phase. But what was already ready around 2015 is the ultimate goal. What they really want, apparently, I was told by a central banker, is, CBDCs looks like a small grain of rice that they want to put under your skin, which is, in my view, a violation of human dignity. And they realize there is a hurdle. So to get people to accept this, there will be, why suddenly are the billionaires saying, let's have universal basic income? Because the story is going to be, now we've created this vast unemployment and disruption and crises. Well, we need universal basic income. You will get 2,000 euros into your account every month. But of course, to run this efficiently, we need to use the latest technology. So, you need the CBDC chip implant. But how many people will say, okay, fine, £2,000, 2,000 euros,
A surprising proportion, shockingly, obviously, to me or yourself, but we've seen years ago in Sweden, there has been a substantial small minority take-up of what's currently much larger. It's kind of like a little cylinder in stainless steel, I guess, maybe it's titanium or something, and they're doing it because they just want to. They want to be early adopters of this nonsense. So if anyone's listening and that sounds fanciful or conspiracy theorish, the fact is in Sweden they are taking it up and in other places, and that's not coming out of nowhere. That's not just some local tech firm makes this. It's part of the early adoption kind of tendrils coming out from the mothership. So yeah, interesting times ahead. But now, as you say, Richard, now is the chance for awareness, wider awareness, and the time to start taking action in any way you can.
Exactly.
Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yashaya, Ba'Shem Rakal Bardash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about this video we just watched, and we're going to read through this article to show that the apostles of Great Millstone have been right this whole time, as Apostle Tahar released on this on one of his latest videos, to show, right? This is it, Akim. This is the declaration that the MOTB is the implantable microchip, right? As this professor has said, right? And he's dealing with the WEF, the World Economic Forum, right? And he has, I believe he's even made another video where they actually showed it to this guy, I believe, right? If it's the same guy at least, right? Where he actually went and talked to these central bankers, or central planners as he calls them, and they actually showed him what the CBDC will look like. And he basically said it looks like a little grain of rice. It's going to be implanted within you. And like we just seen in the video, he said that it's going to be an implantable chip that will let you participate in society, right? That they're going to provide you with a UBI, a universal basic income. They're going to provide you with other things too. They're going to, right? The universal health care, free housing, all the things that these devils, these elites of the world are allowing to be purposely destroyed right now, right? The economy, housing, medical, education, right? All these things which the society has been clamoring for, these devils are going to give it. But there's going to be one small little catch. And that little catch is the size of a grain of rice, as you just heard this guy say. Well, let's go and read this article. And it says, the title says, the World Economic Forum says CBDCs must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. It says, the World Economic Forum has declared that all citizens must be implanted with the CBDC microchip in the very near future in order to be able to fully participate in society and do basic things such as purchase food and water. Now, I have tried to look to see where the statement is that the World Economic Forum has actually stated this, Hakim, and I have not found it. But through all the information, all the press releases, all this information that from this professor and other experts from the World Economic Forum, it is very plain to see. And you could go ahead and watch the video at the bottom of this page. I'm going to put the link to this page in the description so you can go and read it yourself. But at the bottom of this page is the video we just watched, right? Which is basically the whole thing. And they even have clips of that one fat world, the IMF boss, this guy here, you can see him in the little thumbnail, the guy that actually comes out, I'm sorry, no International Monetary Fund, but the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of central banks. It's basically the top bank in the world that is located in Switzerland, right, where which is the heart of the bottomless pit. Right, it's the elite's bank basically that controls all the other central banks in the world. Well, they've come out and they've said what they want to ultimately do, right? And this is a really good interview. It's about an hour long, but it's well worth it. And but let me just read this article so we kind of go through just some of the things that are covered in that video. It says, according to Professor Richard Werner, which again, this man here, Richard Werner, he's from DePhil Oxen Linofsey College, University of Oxford, right? So basically, he's an economics professor. He's born in Germany, 1967. Holds a first-class honors, business science and economics in the London School of Economics and a doctorate in economics from the University of Oxford. He has also studied in the University of Tokyo. These are all his accreditations. So you can see this guy's legit. And he's been involved in, I've seen him in other videos. And like I said again, I believe this is the man who came out a few months ago to actually say that the international bankers at the BIS actually showed him what the CBDC looks like, and it's a microchip. Okay? So continuing, it says, Professor Richard A. Werner is an economist and professor of banking and finance. He is known as a proponent of the new post-crisis monetary policy he called quantitative easing, QE, which he proposed in Japan in 1995 as chief economist in the British Investment Bank. So this guy was behind a lot of the big moves that happened over in Japan. And if you're aware, Japan had a huge collapsing of its economy in the late 80s, early 90s, and they ultimately went through they basically cooked the books, and they kept their economy afloat and basically produced the Japan you know today, which is for the most part subservient to the world economy, and they're basically owned by the elitists and stuff. Kind of the same thing that happened in Mexico. And it kind of goes on, and he speaks about the QE. If you don't know what quantitative easing QEs are, it's basically when the central banks print out tons and tons of money, right, and they inject it into the economy. But this kind of goes through, talks about all the QE strategies that the central banks have done around the world, and he explains how all these things that we've been seeing with the economy, with the hyperinflation, the vast printing of money, and all the spending that the U.S. has done, that ultimately going to lead to a major crisis, which involves BlackRock basically buying up assets for the Federal Reserve, which is like they're basically buying up the houses, which is why you hear BlackRock and Zillow buying up all the private properties and basically forcing the U.S. citizens into a renting market, right? This is all being done to basically mess up the economy for the most part. But the whole point of this, like he says here, he says the true reason I think why they wanted this inflation because that is a cover-up, essentially the disintegration of the petrodollar and the move to the new system, which they want to be CBDC based, central bank digital currency, right? And what did he say the CBDC were? Well, it says, so they're using crisis disruption and unemployment to induce a universal basic income, right? So all these things out here, when you see all the economies are going basically, I'm sorry, where nobody's finding jobs, a lot of people aren't able to keep jobs. All the jobs out there today are, for the most part, the majority of them are gig jobs like Uber Eats and that type of stuff. Pretty much people can't afford to live anymore, and that's how they're going to bring in this universal basic income, right? To soften the public up to accept a CBDC chip implanted under their skin. You will get a 2,000 euros in your account every month, but of course, to run this efficiently, they'll say, we need to use the latest technology so that you need the CBDC chip implant. So just like I said in this video, so again, great interview. This right here confirms what the apostles have been saying this whole time. So this just shows you, Akim, this shows you that the apostles were right, and these prophecies written in the Bible, are coming to pass. And the apostles, starting with Apostle Tahar on down, were the ones warning us of this. I mean, this is how we know who the true men of the Lord are, right? It's not the IUIC, the GOCC, the ISUPK. No, it is apostles of Great Millstone, okay? These are the men that we should be following, right? You don't have to be in Great Millstone, but you do have to follow their doctrine, right? Because their doctrine is a doctrine that the Lord set forth in the Bible, right? This is why they say they got 100% truth, because they break down the Bible 100% correctly, plain and simple, right? Like it or not, that's just the truth, okay? This is Revelation 13-16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And we've all seen that sign of the World Economic Forum, who is behind this whole push here for the CBD systems around the world, right? You can see that 666 right in their logo, Akim. So again, all signs point to what the apostles have been saying, right? And what does this prove? Well, what does it tell you here? This is Ezekiel 33:33. And when this comes to pass, lo, it will come, then shall ye know that a prophet hath been amongst them, right? And that's what these the apostles are, right? Starting with Apostle Tahar, Gabar, Apostle Ramla, Apostle Rakah, and all the other apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down. They have been warning of this from since the Great Millstone has started, and even before that, right? When Apostle was even underneath King Masha and back in the house of David, right? This is the line of succession which we should all be following, okay? Because why? Because it is very clear who's been telling the truth this whole time. Who did the Lord set forth? Well, he didn't set forth liars to come down here and ride on horses, or to go shoot guns on a documentary. No, the Lord set forth his men to warn his people, the Negro Latino Native Americans, of what the truth of the Bible is and what to watch out for, okay? This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished, okay? It's time for all of us, Akim, to put aside our pettiness, right? Any grudges we may have against the apostles for whatever reason, right? You may not just like the way they talk. They might have said something to offend you. Again, this isn't about personal issues, okay, Akim? It's about what is true and what is right, right? And what is true is that the apostles of Great Millstone have had it right, and the MOTB is now showing its ugly face, okay? And you are being warned by me, the other brothers, and the apostles of what that mark of the beast is. You're not being warned by the IUIC. You're not being warned by these other camps. You basically got to start, getting right, Akim. You got to start following the true teachers that the Lord has set forth. This is Malachi 3:18. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. Alright? So it's time, Akim, that we all understand this ain't a popularity game. This ain't about, choosing this group because you like their colors, choosing that group because you like their video qualities. No. Just as the people in the ancient times, when they followed Apostle Paul, Peter, and all the other disciples, because why? Not because they liked their garments or that they had the best, displays of the scriptures and stuff, or they had the best shows. No, these were the men that the Lord set forth, and it's for you, if you are a righteous person, if you're a prudent man, prudent sister, it's up to you to decide who this is, right? And what does that mean? Does that mean that you have to come out and declare that, you're following GMS? No. All this means is that you need to start pulling away from these other false camps. If they're not telling you that the MOTB are these implantable microchips, get away from them. If they're not telling you that the Edomites are the Caucasian race, get away from them. If they're not telling you that the Israelites are the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, get away from them. Right? This is a warning from God, Akim, right? These are the true men that the Lord has set forth to teach his people, and only his people are going to realize this and hearken on to the message. So, I just want to make this quick, Akim. I wanted to show this video and, share this article with you. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem Yashaya, B'Hashem Kokodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect. Shalom.